Good morning. Good morning, Kerry. Good morning, Penny, Di, and Jill. Good morning. Welcome back. Feels like a while since we've been here. Hope you're all doing well and have been surviving the extraordinary rain. If you've got a bolster or some pillows or cushions, you might like to grab those for the practice this morning. I thought we might start in a reclined position, either lying over the bolster in Supta Baddha Konasana. So I'll just demonstrate if you're not 100% familiar with this position. So we might pop the pillows or the bolster just up the top. If you're feeling a bit cold, you can cover yourselves with a blanket. And if you like, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. So lying with the bolster under the length of the spine. If this doesn't feel great, you might like to just stretch the legs out and then the arms can be down alongside you, or perhaps even overhead if the shoulders will allow this movement. Just tucking the chin forward so the back of the neck is long. And if you don't want to come into that position or it doesn't feel right this morning, you might just lie in a semi-supine position. So the feet stepped up close to the buttocks. If you've got glasses on, you might like to just pop those to one side. I'm just taking a few cleansing breaths now. So as you breathe in, filling the lungs, taking the breath down into the belly. And as you exhale, imagine that you're letting go of anything heavy that you've been carrying around lately. So filling the lungs, the belly with fresh cleansing breath as you inhale and just letting go of any heavy weight, worries, concerns, burdens that you've been carrying around lately. Allowing your body to settle down into the ground beneath you. Feeling the gentle support that asks for nothing in return. And just allow your breathing to become easy and natural, no control. The kind of breath you might take when you're resting under a beautiful tree on a lovely spring day. So I invite you to imagine now that you're standing in a wide open field. The air is warm, the light golden, the kind of light that makes everything glow softly. You can smell grass, feel the sunshine, and there's a faint sound of laughter carried by the breeze. As you look down, you realize you're barefoot. The earth beneath your feet is alive, soft, cool. And each step you take feels light, almost buoyant. Your shoulders begin to soften and drop. Your jaw relaxes. And you start to remember what it feels like to not rush. Somewhere nearby you now, you see a version of yourself, a younger you, a child, full of curiosity, eyes bright with possibility. There's a sparkle of mischief there, the kind that doesn't hurt anyone, but just reminds you that joy can be spontaneous. Watch this child for a moment. See how easily they move, how they skip, spin, or tumble in the grass without worrying about who's watching. Notice how freely they laugh, as if laughter were the most natural thing in the world. Visualize yourself now beginning to walk toward that child. The child acknowledges you and then runs up to you, smiling, unguarded. The child knows you. They are you. Without words, they reach out their hand to you and you take their hand. Feel how small, how soft, how trusting this hand is. And in that touch, something in you loosens like a knot being gently undone. Let this younger you lead the way. Maybe you run together, maybe you play, maybe you just sit in the grass and watch clouds drift by, seeing dragons and castles and ice cream cones in the sky. There's no agenda here, nothing to fix, nothing to prove, just you remembering that life can be light. Feel that sense of wonder spread through your body, the way a smile spreads without effort. Let this sense of wonder fill your chest. Let it reach your fingertips, your toes. Your breath becomes easy again. Your heart softer, open. Imagine breathing in playfulness and breathing out old burdens. Breathing in curiosity and breathing out self-judgment. Breathing in lightness and breathing out the weight of should. Stay here for a few moments, bathing in this energy of freedom and joy. Let it imprint on your nervous system. Let your body remember this ease, this ability to dance with life instead of carry it. And when you're ready to return, thank this child for reminding you how to play, how to experience awe and wonder and delight. Know that you can visit them anytime because this child lives within you, always waiting to be seen. So let's just start now to deepen the breath, bringing our awareness back, wriggling fingers and toes, seeing if we can bring this feeling of lightness back with us. And as we prepare to stretch in a moment, the invitation is to bring this playful spirit into our practice this morning. And perhaps to see if we can keep connecting with this energy during the rest of the day. Meeting the world not with effort, but with curiosity and play, lightness and wonder. If your legs are still in Baddha Konasana, you might like to just stretch them out now along the mat. And if you've got any supports underneath you, I'll invite you to, over the next few breaths, just roll to the side, push those supports out of the way so that you can lie down flat on the mat. And if you need to, you can bring the knees into the chest and just gently rock from side to side. I'll come back to meet you on my mat. Just some gentle rocking from side to side. And when you've had enough rocking, just stretching the legs out along the mat. And as we breathe in, let's extend the arms up overhead, point the toes, just have a lovely stretch. And as we exhale, release the arms down. Let's do 2 more of these, breathing in. And breathing out. And last one. Good. Okay, let's draw the right knee in towards the chest. Take the hands on either side of the knee. Imagining now that this right knee is a ball, and we're going to start to just gently toss the ball from palm to palm, keeping that left foot flexed. Back of the neck long, the skin of the face is soft, making sure we're not clenching the teeth. And starting to take the palms wider apart, so we're swinging that leg a little further, starting to move into more of a twist now. And then the next time that right knee moves over to the left, let's hold the twist. So left hand can come to the outer edge of the knee, right arm is out at shoulder height, and we can either keep the head in a neutral position or turn to look towards the right fingers. Just seeing if we can relax that right shoulder and breathe. Good, and then we'll slowly come back to center. Give that right knee a hug and stretch the leg away. Okay, same on the other side. So drawing the left knee in, right foot is flexed. And then we're going to start to toss the ball from palm to palm. Just a little movement to begin with. And then starting to increase the space between our two palms. Noticing how this side is feeling, but without attaching a judgment, just being curious. What can I learn about myself today that I didn't know yesterday? And then when that left knee moves over to the right, let's move into our twist. Left arm out to shoulder height. And then either looking straight up towards the sky or turning to look towards your left fingers. And breathe. And back to center. Give the knee a hug. Stretch the leg away. Arms down by our sides. So we're going to do a little bit of cycling now with our legs, just one leg at a time. If you'd like to support the lower back, you can slip the hands underneath the buttocks. Otherwise, arms just stay where they are. So as we breathe in, we'll draw that right knee in, take the leg up and lower. You can keep this really slow or you might speed it up to see what feels good, appropriate for you this morning. If you used to love riding a bike as a kid, you might like to just visualize yourself riding a bike. Perhaps you still do. That feeling of freedom, fun. Good. And then we'll reverse directions. It's actually a really good reflective question for all of us. You know, how often do I do something these days just for the fun of it? Let's release that leg down and then same with the left leg. So drawing the knee in, take the leg up and lower. Drawing the knee in, take the leg up and lower. And just being aware of how this left side is feeling. And reversing. Good. And then release the leg down. Now we can do one leg at a time again, or this morning I thought we might do the two legs together. So again, if you want a bit of extra support for the lower back, hands are under the buttocks, otherwise they're out to the side. So just draw both knees in and then like we're riding a bike upside down, the two legs are cycling around, making some nice large circles. Endeavoring to keep the chin tucking down, shoulders and arms and hands and fingers relaxed. Good, and then let's see if we can reverse. Good, and then let's draw both knees in and just a little bit of a rock from side to side. All right, let's bring the feet down close to the buttocks. We're going to place the right ankle on the left thigh and either stay here with the right hand on the inner edge of the knee or interlacing the fingers under the left knee. And we're drawing that left knee in towards us and connecting with our breath, but not too much force or strain. So always endeavoring to balance our effort with our ease and our softening. And today, even that little bit of a sense of play and discovery and wonder as we practice on our mat. Good. And then we'll gently release and swap sides. Listening to the body, listening to the breath, making friends with our breath. You can even imagine that our breath is our playmate on the mat. Good. And then gently release the legs down. You might rest the hands on the belly and just take 2 or 3 breaths here as you have a little rest. All right, so we're going to just do a little bit of abdominal strengthening work. We haven't done this for quite a while, so feel free to have a look if you're not quite sure. We're going to bring the legs into a right angle position. Imagine we're pressing our feet against a wall and our palms are going to go onto our thighs. So we're just going to hold it here and we're trying to press the thighs away. At the same time, the thighs are pressing back into our palms. And we're trying to keep the spine as long as we can. So pressing the lower back down, the chin tucking forward. So you hold, hold, hold. And when you need a little rest, just draw the knees in and perhaps even a little rock from side to side. So have 2 or 3 goes at this just in your own time. So the knees and feet are hip distance apart. And have a little rest when you need to. Again. Now, when you've had enough of that one, we're going to try a variation of that. So with this one, we're going to take the right palm onto the left thigh. So we're crossing the arm across the body and legs are up. As we breathe in, we're going to straighten the right leg and the left arm goes overhead. And then as we exhale, knee comes in and left palm comes down by our hip. So the same concept of pressing the palm into the thigh, thigh presses back into the palm. So we'll do 3 of these. So as we breathe in, straighten the right leg, left arm overhead, breathe out. Inhale, exhale. And one more. And then just give yourselves a little hug, a little rest. You might sigh the breath away. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So left palm pressing into right thigh, right palm down alongside us, breathing in, straighten the left leg, right arm overhead. Exhale, draw in. So two more. When you've finished, you might like to make circles now. So cross one ankle over the other, little circles on the mat. And circling the opposite way. That's just continuing to reflect on that question. When do I allow myself to have fun or to play? What does play look like for me these days? Do I ever allow myself to play just for the fun of it, just for the sake of it? Good. All right, let's gently roll over to the side and we're going to come around into extended child. Just seeing if we can connect with the innocence of this pose, child pose. You might even prefer to have your arms down alongside you just for a few breaths, or making fist of the hands and just rest your forehead on your fists. Just for a moment connecting with that little girl inside of us, little boy inside of us. And then we're going to lift up into elephant pose. So if you haven't already done so, arms are forward, little fingers touching the outer edge of the mat, little toes touching the outer edge of the mat. Inhale, lift the knees, lift the hips, finding your beautiful elephant. Head relaxing down, the head's the trunk of our elephant, let it be floppy and loose. You might even like to make the sound of an elephant. Just blow the breath away. When you've had enough, just coming down into child pose, otherwise just staying for another few breaths. Again, when you come down, your favourite version of child, or you might like to lift up onto the crown of the head, interlace your fingers and lift the arms up and overhead. And just a few breaths here. And then lowering the arms, lower the head, keep the head down for at least a couple of breaths, allowing the blood to equalise. And then we're going to come to slide along the floor, coming to lie down on our tummies. Just rest the head on your hands for a moment. And then we're going to take the arms above the head. So your arms are at least hip width apart, maybe even wider if that's better for your shoulders. Your legs are wide apart, the forehead is down. On our next inhale, we're going to lift the left arm, the head, and the right leg. Exhale, lowering everything down. Now lifting right arm, left leg, and lower. So left arm, right leg, and lower. Right arm, left leg, and lower. Let's do one more to each side. Good. And then just turn your head to the side and bring your arms down alongside you. Have a little rest. If the lower back's feeling a bit tender, you can bend the lower legs and just swing the legs from side to side. Okay, so this time I thought we'd have a go at the more traditional Shalabhasana locust, where we make fists with the hands, we roll from side to side, and we tuck the fists into the groin. Now, if that's not comfortable, you just leave your arms out to the side. Otherwise, our arms are underneath the body, the forehead is down, the legs are together. And this time, as we breathe in, let's lift the left leg. You can keep the head down, or some of you might like to lift your head, pointing the toes. And as we exhale, lowering down. Right leg lifts, perhaps the head, and down. So do two more to each side. So left leg lifts, and down. Right leg lifts, and down. Left leg lifts, and down. Right leg lifts, and down. Good. Release your arms. Have a little rest. If you need to, swing the lower legs from side to side. All right. Now, this time, we're going to, again, take the arms up above the head, either shoulder width apart or wider, if that's better for your shoulders. Your forehead is down, your feet are wide. This time we're going to alternate lifting arms and head and then the legs, so alternating. If you're not quite sure, feel free to have a look. So we'll exhale all breath. And then breathing in. So just the arms and the head. Tops of the feet press down and lower. And then just your legs and lower. Arms and lower. And then just the legs, pointing the toes and lower. Good, let's do one more each way. So arms and lower, and legs and lower. Good. If you like, we'll bend your arms, rest your chin or your forehead on your hands. And again, take a few breaths. Now, if you've had enough, feel free to push back into child pose and perhaps even grab your bolster or your cushions and be in a more supportive version of child, and just rest there and breathe down into the lower back. Otherwise, we're going to do one more pose on our tummies. I thought we'd have a go at doing snake, which I haven't done for ages, Sapasana, which is a beautiful pose. We're not going to hold it though, we're just going to lift up as we inhale. And as we come down, we'll add a hissing sound, so just like a snake. This is really good for strengthening our nervous systems. So with snake, we bring the big toes to touch, making the snake's pointy tail. Forehead is down. And then you can either hold on to your opposite elbow, or if you can, interlace your fingers, but extend the index fingers straight. So please feel free to watch the first one if you're not sure. I'm going to do 3 of these. So let's exhale all breath. As we breathe in, we lift the head, the chest, perhaps the arms, and then hissing down. So 2 more. Inhale, lift up. And last one. And you finish, let everything go. Let the body feel very heavy for a moment. And then we'll all bring our hands alongside our chest and come back. And as I mentioned, if you've got a bolster or pillows, you might like to just slide that in now and take a rest. If the lower back's feeling quite tender, you might give it a little bit of a massage with your fists. And if your head is turned to one side, let's gently turn it the opposite way. And then we'll slowly release. And we're going to come up to stand. So you can either come into down face dog pose, stay there for a few breaths and then walk in and come up, or just come up, whatever you feel like doing this morning. Moving everything off our mats. And we're going to come to the fronts of our mats, standing with the feet close together, standing into Tadasana, mountain pose. Arms by our side, perhaps a gentle smile on our lips. And we're going to just start our standing poses with walking backwards, which we've done a little bit of recently. So just very, very slowly, like a walking meditation, lifting one foot up and placing it down. And just being acutely aware of what parts of the foot are connecting with the mat first and last. Continuing to breathe. Face soft, forehead smooth. When you get to the back of the mat, just pause, take a breath. And then just for something different, we'll take the hands onto the hips. We're going to see if we can come onto our heels as we walk forward. So this is the penguin walk, just for a bit of fun. Just watching And I include myself in this, watching our tendency to take ourselves and everything too seriously, and balancing that with some lightness and play. So again, when we're at the fronts of the mats, let's just walk back very, very slowly, softening the shoulders. Can you connect with a little twinkle in your eye as you work with these practices this morning? Little sparkle. When you get to the very end, take a breath, and then again, we're turning into penguins, coming onto our heels and walking forward. Good. When you finish, there's no hurry, just come back to center, little bend in the legs, and let's do our bouncing. And we might imagine releasing heaviness, releasing perhaps a bit of our seriousness, releasing worries and burdens. They might still be there at the end of our practice, but we're just practicing on the mat, letting them go for a period of time, noticing what it feels like to play a little, to have a bit of fun, to connect with joy, lightness. Happy to share with you. I have to smile thinking when I woke up this morning and I thought, oh my God, I've chosen the wrong theme this week because I was just not feeling in touch with any lightness, any sense of fun. My little girl was probably just having a sulk. And I planned the class yesterday. And then I, went for a little walk and then I thought, no, we can do this. But please know, I truly understand. It's not always that easy to connect with that lightness. All right, let's just slow this bouncing down and a bit of fun again. I know some of you have done this with me before. We're going to take the hands onto the hips and we're going to jump up and down. And we're going to turn around. And if you like, ho, 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 ha, 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 he, he, ho, 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 ha, 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 he, ho, 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 ha, 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 he. You might change the tone. Ho, 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 ha, 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 he, ho, 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 ha, 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 he. Good. And just release. My son, 19-year-old beautiful son, is a Christmas elf at Maya. He's just started this week. So that's certainly given me a bit of a smile. He's a giant and very tall. And it's been quite fun seeing him dressed up in his elf costume. So let's just take a hand onto the abdomen, hand onto the lower back, and rubbing quite vigorously. Good. And then hands to the side ribcage area, up and down, up and down. Good. And then just resting the hands over the lower abdomen. Now, hands can actually touch the body or just be slightly away from the body. And as we breathe in now, we're going to raise the arms up above the head and exhale down the sides. So breathing in, breathing out. You can keep this really slow or you can speed it up. Just find a speed, a pace that works for you. One more. Good. And then rest a hand over the heart, a hand on the crown. Eyes can be open or closed. I just invite you to visualize your favorite flower. Don't think about it too much, just the first flower that comes to you. And just imagine that you're breathing in the fragrance, the scent of the flower, breathing in the color of the flower, visualizing the shape, the texture of the petals. And then just place that flower somewhere inside of you. Good. And then release the hands down. Again, little bend in the legs, hands onto our thighs. As we exhale, let's round the back. So standing cat pose. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Let's do a couple more. And when you make that last exhalation, just slowly, slowly slide down. Legs can be bent or straight, but just let it be quite restful. And you might like to sway a little bit from side to side. Good. And then we'll slowly, slowly come up. When you're up into Tadasana, let's breathe in. Raise the arms up. Fingertips touch. And exhale down through the center. Let's do a few more of these. Option to lift up onto your tiptoes. At your own pace, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Finish the one you're on and we'll work with one more. Beautiful. And release. take the legs a little bit wider apart and we'll work with the Tibetan yoga breath with some words. So we'll turn to look towards our left hand, exhale all breath. As we breathe in, leaning over to the left, watching the fingers, stretching the right fingers down, perhaps breathing in joy and breathing out wonder, or just choose which words resonate with you this morning that can connect you with that sense of play with your little girl or little boy inside. So breathing in joy, lightness, play, and breathing out wonder, delight. So just again, work at your own pace, inhaling lightness, fun, exhaling permission to play. Do we allow ourselves time to play? Keep going. How do we play? Stay with the sound of your breath, a soothing rhythm. I often think it's so interesting that we have so many children's playgrounds for kids. It's like, well, where's as we get older, our playground? I guess it's the pub. uh, but it's one of my favourite things is actually to swing, have a swing. I often will go to a children's playground and just have a swing. Or a couple of weeks ago, just driving back from Adelaide, and there was a flying fox in a playground, and I was like, oh, I had to have a go. When do we allow? We don't often see adults on the swings in the playgrounds, just having fun. So the next time that right arm comes down, just release the practice. Come back to center. Just take a deep breath in and sigh the breath away. And release. All right. Let's do one more standing pose. We'll go into triangle, Trikonasana, and then warrior two. We'll transition into warrior two. Then we're going to come down to the floor. So take the legs wide, turn your left toes around, right toes in. And when you're ready, breathe in, raise the arms, turn to the left. Breathing out, lean over, then take the hand down. This right arm might be on your hip, or we can extend the right arm up. And then we're either looking down to our big toe, forward, or up towards our right thumb. And breathing. If you want to challenge yourself, see if you can let that left hand dangle. So you're not actually holding or gripping onto the left leg. Just relax the face, perhaps a gentle smile. And then bring the head to neutral. Inhale, come up, turn to the left, and we're bending the left leg. So one or two hands might be on your hips, or else the arms are extended, shoulders are soft, and we're gazing along that left middle finger. Good. Inhale and exhale. Turn the feet around. Breathing in. Turn to the right. Breathing out. So left hand on the hip or extending the arm up. Working out where it's best for you to look depending on your neck. This top hand may be on the hip. You might let that right arm dangle rather than holding onto the leg if you can. And breathe. Good. And then head to neutral. Inhale, come up, turning to the right, bending the right leg. So again, one or two hands can be on your hips or arms extended. Shoulders soft, gazing along the right middle finger. Inhale, straighten the right leg. And exhale. Release your legs. Okay, so I'd like to actually invite you now to work with a pose that makes you feel really joyful and happy and alive. So choose perhaps your favourite pose. It might be a standing pose. It might be down on the mat. So I'll just spend a couple of minutes with this pose, so standing, or I'm going to do one of my favourite poses, which is actually one I'm going to offer after this. But if you'd like to do it, I'm going to do supported fish with the bolster. But any pose, you've all been practicing for a while. I know you know lots and lots of, again, we don't want to think about this too much, just straight away, what's my favourite pose? What makes me feel happy? And then come into that. Make sure you've got all the adequate support if you're needing it. So a couple of minutes. So letting your little girl or little boy have a bit of fun. Allowing the breath to flow. And while you're in the pose, you would also just like to reflect on, so what is it about this pose that makes me feel so happy and joyful? So just another 30 seconds. And then just finishing up what you're doing, carefully coming out. If you need to do just a little gentle counter pose, please just do that, maybe for a few breaths. So if it was a strong back bend, you'd just do a gentle sort of forward bend. Or if it was a strong forward bend, you might like to sort of just open up the chest and the heart, the lungs a little bit, lean back for a few breaths. And then I'm going to invite you when you're ready to either come into supported fish, like what I've just been doing, Make sure you've got support for your back of your head if there's any neck issues, or supported bridge. So bolster under the buttocks. We're going to be here for about 5 minutes. So this one, or legs up the wall. So this is supported bridge, or you might come over to a wall. If you've got a bolster or pillows, they're about a hand's distance away from the wall, so not actually touching. You might pop socks back on and have a blanket covering you at this point. And then we might be lying with our legs up the wall. I'll invite you again to remove any glasses at this point. You might even like to cover your eyes. So once you come into position, just giving yourself permission to let go, to soften, sighing the breath away. While you're here, I'd like to share a lovely passage with you. Some of you may have heard this before, have shared it once before, but I think it's a really good reminder. This is from the book, the wonderful book, Midlife Spirituality and Jungian Archetypes. It takes great humility to temporarily let go of the serious adult in us who is so preoccupied with the world and important enterprises in order to really play. Each of us has to find the way back to wonder. The alternative seems to be that we become jaded. By this time, we have been around, we have seen it all, done it all, heard it all. We have been touched by the evil all around us and in our own heart. We have made it, or we're not going to make it now. We have been sinned against and been betrayed by loved ones and love. We have been hurt many times, and our defensive crusts have grown thick. We are at great risk of becoming cynical. Cynicism and bitterness are real possibilities as we reach the end of naivety. At such moments, the archetype of the child can lead us. The child will be new life, wonder, awe, risk, hope, and spring. It will lead us to move out and beyond into the new again and again, in spite of all the threats and losses in life. So just another minute here. And very slowly allowing yourself to come out of this pose, just pushing any supports out of the way and just rocking from side to side. We're going to go into a gentle twist just before Shavasana. So if you'd like to, you can place your bolster or cushions or pillows on the right side of you as you're rocking. And then we can take the knees over to the right side. You might like to place the right hand on the outer edge of the left knee or not, arms at shoulder height, perhaps turning the head to look towards the left. And we'll just stay here for 5 or so breaths. And then when you feel it's time, come back to center, perhaps taking your support over to the left and knees over to that left side. Head may turn to the right. And when you're ready, back to center. And then we'll just set ourselves up for Shavasana. Might like to pop some support under your knees. Make sure that you are warm. Settling down. Allowing the earth to hold you. Acknowledging that you don't need to do anything to receive this support. And as you lie down to rest, you might like to imagine that your beautiful little self, little girl or boy, is lying down with you, resting their head on your tummy. So you're lying together. Perhaps you are stroking their hair, their forehead, gentle, loving strokes. This little you is reminding you to find joy in your days, joy and wonder and magic. This little you is reminding you to move when you can, more lightly through the world, rather than allowing the heaviness of the world to weigh you down. You might like to just think about giving yourselves permission sometime this week to take the little you on an excursion or to do something that's really fun and playful, even if it's just going for a park and have a little swing, go and get a hot chocolate or ice cream or go for a ride on your bike. Thinking about, even little kids who skip. When did we stop skipping? You never see an adult skipping. I'd like to share with you again one of my all-time favorite passages. You will have heard it before, but again, I think it's a great reminder for us all. Aldous Huxley. It's dark because you are trying too hard. Lightly, child, lightly. Learn to do everything lightly. Yes, feel lightly, even though you're feeling deeply. Just lightly let things happen and lightly cope with them. I was so preposterously serious in those days. Lightly, lightly. It's the best advice ever given me. There are quicksands all about you, sucking at your feet, trying to suck you down into fear and self-pity and despair. That's why you must walk so lightly, lightly, my darling. And then very, very gently start to deepen the breath, bringing your awareness back into this room, your space, your physical body. Bringing some movement into your fingers and toes. Might like to have a bit of a stretch, do what feels good. And then quietly rolling over to one side and making your way up into a comfortable seated position. We might chant 3 Oms to seal our practice this morning with the hands at the heart. Just for fun, this morning you might like to chant a little different tone, a little higher or lower than you might normally. Just again, that sense of play, trying something a bit different. Exhale all breath. Breathing in. Gently bowing your head down. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for joining this morning. Lots of love to you all and your little girls and boys. Hope to see you again next week. Have fun. See you in the playground. Bye.